Republican Senator Joni Ernst recently drew some outrage for her callous response to a constituent during a town hall last week. A woman in the crowd said that, hey, the Medicaid cuts in the Trump big beautiful bill could mean that people will die. She responded, of course, by saying, well, what, we're all going to die someday. So, come on. Now, the following day, of course, the senator from Iowa decided to release a video that was apparently supposed to be an apology, but really was more of a double down and a way to mock people who are concerned that they're going to lose their health care.
I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely apologize for a statement that I made yesterday at my town hall. I was in the process of answering a question that had been asked by an audience member when a woman who was extremely distraught screamed out from the back corner of the auditorium, "People are going to die." And I made an incorrect assumption that everyone in the auditorium understood that, yes, we are all going to perish from this earth. So I apologize. And I'm really, really glad that I did not have to bring up the subject of the tooth fairy as well. But for those that would like to see eternal and everlasting life, I encourage you to embrace my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Wait, hold on. This is the party that is totally fine with letting you die from lack of health care. But don't worry, she says. She's got a plan for that. All you got to do is just accept Jesus before you die, and then everything will be working out just fine. I mean, not for you, of course, but for us. It's going to work out great for us. It'll be great because rich people like me get to save all sorts of money while you die. It's great for everybody. You get to meet Jesus. I get to have the Benjamins. That's what this big, beautiful bill is ultimately all about. Okay? Giving billions of dollars in additional tax breaks for the nation's wealthiest people and corporations. Okay, that's what they want to do. By the way, they're the same people who fund Joni Ernst. Okay, now, according to a new analysis released by the Center for American Progress, released back in May, an estimated 6.9 million people would lose coverage by 2034 as a result of congressional Republicans' new work requirements and paperwork requirements. Okay, they're going to drown people in red tape and paperwork, and just in order to basically get people to not sign up or to kick them off. That will lead to more than 21,600 additional avoidable deaths nationally each year. Now, this would already add to the 68,000 preventable deaths we already have because we don't have Medicare for all. So, I mean, the numbers are going up. Okay, we're getting close to 100,000 dead each year now, or will, in the wealthiest nation on the planet. That doesn't seem right. So much for being, pro-life. So much for being a Christian nation. Because, look, we've never been a Christian nation, because perhaps if we had been, at least people might get health care. Maybe. What I'm saying is that people like Joni Ernst make a mockery of their religion. A lot of the so-called Christians, especially on the right, do the same thing. Okay, look, I've read the Bible. It says to care about poor people. It says to care about immigrants, and it says not to be like rich people. And yet, that's exactly what Republicans are doing. They're punishing poor people. They're kicking out the immigrants, and they are loving rich people. That's what they do. So now, columnist Mike Lofgren, a former Republican staffer in Congress, he actually wrote for Common Dreams last month about this, about the Medicaid cuts. And he nailed it. He basically said that the GOP is showing you that their policy agenda is, we want you to die. Quote, if someone commits a reckless act whose adverse consequences are clearly foreseeable, then for all practical purposes, that person willed the consequences. This principle, who wills the means, wills the ends, is applicable in law, but should also be valid in everyday life. It should particularly apply to the behavior of public officials who wield power over the rest of us. Exactly. Look, Republicans know they're kicking people off of healthcare, and that these people, many of them, will likely die as a result of that. They don't care. They want it to happen. This is social Darwinism. That's it. Only the strong should survive, they say. And by strong, they mean wealthy, obviously. And look, podcaster Fred Wellman of Midas Touch also weighed in. He said that the entire episode not only proves that Ernst is emblematic of an increasingly heartless and cruel Republican Party, which I think has been heartless and cruel for a very, very long time now, at least my entire life, but also said that Joni Ernst herself is, quote, a very shitty person. Well, I couldn't agree more on that one. Yes, she is. Okay. Wellman said in his video, quote, she thought it was so clever. She owned them libs, didn't she? She's owning them libs. But guess what? She's up for re-election, folks. She's sure she's going to win because it's Iowa. What could go wrong? Let's make sure it goes wrong. Now, look, I appreciate Wellman's response and using this as a call to action to get people involved in the political process. By all means, get out there and try to vote her out. That said, I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, I'm pretty cynical and pessimistic at this point. I mean, because, you know, look around. Okay. So, look, again, I don't know if it's going to work. I'm not saying don't try it, though. Definitely. Look, she's already got a challenger, J.D. Scholten, okay? He announced on Monday that he's going to try to unseat her. Good luck with that, right? Seriously, though, I do say good luck with that. Here's what he said about this. After her comments over the weekend, I've been thinking about it for a while, but that's when I just said this is unacceptable, and you got to jump in. At the end of the day, though, it's not about her. It's not about me. It's about the people of Iowa deserving better. I don't think there's anything worse that you could do than cut Medicaid, cut SNAP benefits for everyday Iowans, just so you can give billionaires a bigger tax cut. That is not Iowa in my mind. Yeah, look, maybe. I don't know. Iowa, it's not just Iowa, okay? There's a lot of places in this country that haven't exactly impressed me on that, you know, because they supported people like Trump and the Republican Party, which is why we're in this place, you know, to begin with, right? And I'm also not impressed with a lot of the Democratic establishment, which has allowed a lot of this stuff to happen too, by not having a message that, for example, hey, we should support, you know, universal health care. We should get Medicare for all. We should do all that stuff. Democratic establishment has been staunchly against that as well. And I think it is important to point that out. Not Democratic voters. Democratic voters are pretty progressive on that issue, right? And they want universal health care. They want things like Medicare for all. You know, they want universal, like, child care and all that good stuff. And even Republicans want it too. But it's the establishment. The establishment is the problem here. The establishment that is funded by the same billionaires that are getting tax breaks from the Republican bill. So they have control over our political process. Money in politics. We've got to get it out. Right? So that said, again, I'm cynical, yes, but that does not mean that you shouldn't get involved, that you shouldn't do something. I think that voting is one of the easiest things that you can do. And I understand that that's like maybe a controversial statement due to all the voter suppression that is currently going on as well. Yes, I'm quite well aware of that as, you know, because I've been covering it, but I've been talking about voter suppression as well. But again, compared to the other ways that you could get involved, that's one of the easier ones, okay? If you want to do more, there's, of course, mutual aid networks, there's community building, there's organizing your workplace, and hell, there's even jumping in to run for office in your area on a Medicare for All platform, on a progressive platform. There's plenty of ways that you could do to try to get this country to a better place where people like Joni Ernst are not in charge, do not have this power, where we all actually get health care, because I think just being alive, we deserve health care. We are living people and need health care, and therefore it should be the government's job to provide it. That's it. Yes, and we should all get it. No exceptions. No exceptions. Okay. Yes, I think we should all get health care. But again, it is the matter, though, and where I'm cynical at is fighting and pushing to try to get this against what is basically nearly impossible odds. That said, as a lefty, I'm pretty used to those odds. So, I mean, and if you are too, then, well, keep on pushing, and we may not see it in our lifetimes, but at some point, we are going to have universal health care. And people like Joni are going to be put out to pasture. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.